Sarah had always been a light sleeper, so when her phone rang at exactly midnight, she was instantly awake. She glanced at the caller ID, but it displayed unknown. Hesitantly, she answered.
Hello?
At first, there was only silence on the other end. Then a raspy voice whispered.
I'm watching you, Sarah.
Sarah's heart raced as she sat up in bed.
Who is this?
She demanded, but the caller had already hung up. The next night, at precisely midnight, the phone rang again. The same raspy voice whispered.
I'm getting closer, Sarah.
Sarah called the police, but they couldn't trace the call. They advised her to change her number and to keep a record of any further calls. Sarah followed their advice, but the calls continued, always at midnight, and always with the same menacing voice. One night, the caller whispered.
I know where you work, Sarah. I saw you leaving the office today.
Sarah's heart stopped. She had never mentioned her workplace to anyone outside her close friends and family. How could this stalker know where she worked? She decided to take matters into her own hands. She bought a gun and started sleeping with it under her pillow. She also installed security cameras around her apartment and changed her locks. But the calls kept coming. Each night, the voice grew more familiar, as if the caller knew intimate details about Sarah's life. One particularly unsettling night, the voice whispered.
I like the new locks, Sarah, but they won't keep me out.
Sarah's hands shook as she held the phone.
What do you want from me?
She screamed. The voice chuckled darkly.
I want you, Sarah, and I always get what I want.
The voice on the other end chuckled darkly.
I'm already inside, Sarah.
Sarah's blood ran cold. She slowly turned around and saw a shadowy figure standing in the corner of her room. The figure stepped forward, revealing a horrifying, disfigured face. The next day, Sarah didn't show up for work. Her colleagues, worried about her unusual absence, called the police. When the officers arrived at her apartment, they found the door unlocked. Inside, Sarah lay in her bed, her eyes wide open in terror, her phone clutched tightly in her hand. The officers noticed the gun on her nightstand, unused. They checked her phone log. The last call was from her own number at exactly midnight. The officers listened to the voicemail, and a chill ran down their spines as they heard the raspy voice whisper.
I told you, Sarah, I always get what I want.
Despite a thorough investigation, the police never found the caller. The case remained unsolved, and the midnight calls never stopped. Some say that on quiet nights, if you listen closely, you can still hear the whispers of the midnight caller searching for his next victim.